Hi, everyone. My name is Noah Pittman. I'm the Associate Dean of Enrollment for the Honors College at the University of Arkansas. Thank you so much for watching our videos breaking down the fellowship scholarship application. Now, this video specifically is going to focus on letters of recommendation, which students are required to have them submitted, what we're looking for in letters, and some tips on how you can secure really effective letters on your behalf. So first off, quick recap. University of Arkansas does not require letters of recommendation for admission or for scholarship applications. We do, however, require that 2 letters be submitted for fellowship applicants. Now, these are students who have at least a 32 ACT composite score on one exam, that's equivalent to a 1430 on the SAT, and at least a 3.9 high school GPA. You have to meet both of those requirements just in order to be eligible to be considered for fellowships. So again, fellowship applicants have to have 2 letters submitted on their behalf. Now, every university is different when it comes to what they're looking for in letters of recommendation, but here at the University of Arkansas, we do strongly recommend that the letters come from teachers, counselors, or school administrators. In our estimation, they write by far the best, most effective letters for students. Now, prep work before senior year. If you're starting your senior year, if you're coming into your senior year, one thing I encourage anyone who's applying to college is to start to work on a list of colleges that you plan to apply to in the fall, whether you're applying to 1 school or 5 schools or 10 schools or 20 schools. You need to have a list that not only gives the names of the colleges, but also what are the application requirements for each school? Who's going to require letters of recommendation? Who do they want them from? How many need to be submitted on your behalf? Along with, does the school have a scholarship application? How do you apply for financial aid? When are application deadlines? That all needs to be something that you're tracking throughout your senior year. And as you're starting to think about where you're applying to college, you also need to be considering who can write the best letters on my behalf. You need to be thinking about that if any of the schools you're applying to do require letters of recommendation. So who should write my letter? As I mentioned earlier, we recommend teachers, counselors, or school administrators. Every school in the country is going to be different about this. Now, in some cases, other individuals, such as work supervisors, coaches, volunteer coordinators, they can write the letters, but I would only use them if they prepared letters for competitive college admissions in the past. If they've never written a letter for a college or for any competitive scholarship application, you name it, you don't want to be their test case. You want people who have experience putting these letters together. Some people you definitely can't ask, though. One, don't ask parents or family members. Under no circumstances should a parent or a close family member be writing a letter on your behalf. 2, figures of influence, we really discourage you from using them unless you have worked directly with that person in the past. So we're talking about elected officials, executive level people in businesses, you name it. Unless you work for that individual or done some type of work with them, you really shouldn't be asking them for letters. I know it can be really impressive to have that individual write the letter, but if it's not effective in terms of what they're saying about you, that's not going to help you that much. So those are 2 groups I would really try to avoid using letters from. Now, when you also need to be thinking about in terms of who writes your letters, you need to choose someone that can talk about maybe a soft skill of yours, an attribute, or even a hard skill that will help the letter stand out. If they're just reciting word for word, basically what's on your resume, that Johnny is the president of this club, Johnny did this type of service, if they're not really adding to the application, if they can go above and beyond what we're already seeing in the rest of the application. So people who can talk about your work ethic, your creativity, critical thinking skills, communication, leadership skills, your empathy, that could be a really good subject, passion for a subject you plan to study in college, academic skills, and so on. They don't need to address each one of these skills, but if someone who can really address 1 or 2 of these and use anecdotes, use very specific examples of your communication leadership skills or your creativity, or you name it, that could be a really effective letter. That is, you want your letter recommendation to add to the application you're submitting. If they're just repeating what's already in there, it's not bad. It just doesn't really help your application move forward and be as strong as possible. So when you identify who should write your letters, there's 4 steps to asking for a letter. The first is the request. You need to reach out to individuals and give them plenty of time to prepare a letter, at least 3 to 4 weeks. Some teachers only need 2 weeks. Some individuals might need over a month, but at least 3 to 4 weeks. Request it. I know school, at the beginning of the school year, that first day, that's probably not the time to ask for them, but within those first few weeks, maybe the first month of your senior year, you need to start reaching out to individuals and ask them to write a letter. If they agree to write a letter, the next thing you need to do is provide materials. So I always recommend providing a copy of your resume. That'll help jog their memory in a lot of different ways. You need to give them letter submission instructions. Is it done through paper? Is it done online? Should they expect a link to be sent to them? When are the deadlines? Letter submission instructions are key. It's also not a bad idea if you're using a teacher, maybe give them a copy of a graded assignments. It's not necessary, but it can be helpful and can help, again, jog their memory, especially if it's a teacher you had maybe sophomore, freshman year. That could help them in preparing their letter. So you've asked them, you provide materials, they've submitted the letter. It's in your file. The next thing you need to do is once you confirm that they've submitted the letter, and most colleges will send you an email update saying that this individual has already written your letter, it's in your file. You want to show gratitude. So once the letter is submitted, make sure to give the letter writer a handwritten thank you note. Emails are fine, but it's not a bad idea to go to local Walgreens, Walmart, you name it, invest in, a set of thank you cards and write them a note thanking them and letting them know how much you think of them and the work they've done. So write thank you notes, and especially handwritten can make a nice touch, because you may come back in the spring and need another letter recommendation for a whole other scholarship opportunity. That individual might be more willing to write a letter if you've shown gratitude in the past. Finally, keep in the loop. Let your letter writer know how things turn out throughout the college admissions process. So if they wrote a letter for a school that you got into, let them know. If you wrote a letter for a scholarship and you got that scholarship, let them know. Keep them in the loop. It's going to make their letter feel valued, the letter writer feel valued for what they've done and playing a very small role in your success. Those are the 4 steps to asking for a letter. If your letter writer asks for what the University of Arkansas is looking for, I'd really recommend on the Honors College website, honorscollege.uark.edu, in our prospective student section, there is a section for teachers and counselors that has a variety of information that they need to know about the Honors College, but it also includes some tips on what we're looking for specifically in a letter. So this video is meant for the applicant. We have a blog post that's meant for teachers and counselors and you name it, so they can see examples of what we're actually looking for in the letter they submit. So that's available on the teachers and counselors section of the Honors College website. So in conclusion, start to consider your letter recommendation strategy the summer before senior year. If you're already in senior year, be thinking about that very early on in the process. In most cases, teachers, school counselors, or administrators should write your letters. But if the university you're applying for is asking for another type of individual, follow their instructions. But if they're broad in terms of letters, like the University of Arkansas is, those are going to be your best letter writers. And follow each of those 4 steps we recommend when it comes to requesting a letter. Request a letter, provide materials, show gratitude, and of course, keep in the loop. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, you have our contact information. You can email us at honors@uark.edu. You can call us at 479-575-7678. You also see our website, honorscollege.uark.edu, our blog, and you can follow us on Twitter or Instagram @uarkhonors. So thanks again. Hope you have a great rest of the day and good luck with this process. Bye.